Welcome back to Everything All the Time. Pat O'Brien, Court McCowan here with you. And, the number 56 has a great meaning in sports. One, Joe DiMaggio.
Okay.
56-game hitting streak,
Yep.
which will never be done again. No, not with mid-relievers.
No. I mean, even with roids, I still don't think it's going to happen.
And not impossible. And the number 56, which was the number on the back and the front of Thomas Hollywood Henderson, who once said, "I'm tall, talented, neat in the waist, cute in the face, and they call me Hollywood. How can I lose?" And he joins us live now. Hello, Thomas. How are you?
I am good, and Hollywood damn near killed me.
You said you had mentioned say out of court, by the way.
Hey, Hollywood, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Court said he grew up in a rougher neighborhood than you, but we'll get to that in a minute.
We were all pretty close. We were in rock throwing distance from each other in Oklahoma.
Just 6 iron. Did you get rid of the name Hollywood? Do people still call you that? Because I know at one point you said Hollywood is dead.
I gave it up. I gave it up 32 years ago. But it's a brand. You think of the Beatles, or it's my little brand. Although I have a resentment against my brand. It's Hollywood Henderson.
What's the resentment? Resentment's the number one killer of alcoholics.
Well, I don't resent it, but I'll just say that it damn near killed me. But in the scheme of things, I haven't played football since 1982, but they still remember me, and they remember Hollywood. If I was Tom Henderson, I'm not sure that I would still have some sort of name out there.
Right. No, you were smart. Who came up with that? You?
You know what? It was either there was two names available. It was Damn Fool or Hollywood.
I
take Hollywood.
Damn Fool is
Hollywood.
Yeah, Damn Fool is my middle name. Thomas Henderson, Hollywood Henderson, as he used to be called, who played for the Dallas Cowboys, number 56. And you guys grew up just.
Well, it's so funny because Thomas, you went to Douglas High School. I went to Northeast High School.
What was that like? Northeast.
Northeast. Well, it was funny because Northeast.
Asking Tom.
Yeah. Thomas.
Yes.
What was Northeast High School like?
Well, I didn't go to Northeast.
I know, but
we whipped their butts all the time.
There you go.
From Douglas, but we didn't really socialize with those people over there at Northeast because they were a little more integrated than we were. We were like, Sambo, and they were like,
Yeah.
lattes.
Yeah. I tell people. I said Northeast.
Sambo.
I said Northeast High School we went to. It was a very black neighborhood in Oklahoma City, and Douglas was a blacker neighborhood. And
That's exactly correct.
But we played.
An intense beat.
Yeah, I got to tell you this story though. One time we went over for a freshman football game to Douglas High School, and we had to wait in the bus because you guys had a stabbing. and so we had to wait in the bus while they cleared everything up and made sure nobody out on the field had knives. And
that was a very interesting time. I was at Douglas in 70 and 71, and besides barely finishing high school there, I did leave there with a welding certificate. And when I worked in the Gulf of Mexico, we had a really bad accident, and there was oil going everywhere, and they needed a welder, and the welder was 8 hours away by boat, and I had this little trade, man, and I grabbed the equipment and went down there, man, and closed the big old gap, and so Douglas gave me I'm a welder. If there was if everything fell apart, I could go to a welding shop and build gates and fences and
right.
meg and weld and run beads, and I could do all that because I have a trade.
The most famous welder
I
in
know.
American.
And I think Douglas, and really originally I think that was because they ran a chop shop out of the auto mechanics store there at Douglas, but that's...
Shop?
So, how did your Thomas Henderson is our guest, Hollywood Henderson, number 56, Dallas Cowboys, won a Super Bowl, dominated football back in the day, and in high school and in college. Or where'd you go to college?
I walked on in Langston because I was like, I had a foot in Vietnam or college,
Right.
and barely.
Right with you on that one.
The only reason I didn't go to Vietnam is because I failed biology my sophomore year, and I was in summer school when my number came up, and they couldn't draft me to go to Vietnam in 1971, so I lucked out there too. I've won a lot of lotteries, Pat.
You won. By the way, Tom, well, everybody knows this. He won the lottery not once, but twice.
That's mathematically.
Not like the real lottery.
That's mathematically
28 million
impossible.
once, and the second one you won how much?
The second one was a little, just $50,000.
But, no problem.
Yeah. But I've been lucky favored my whole life. I've made stupid choices and decisions in my life. Crack cocaine. Here's something I never talk about. I've never really talked about this publicly because I have too much pride. But the day that Tom Landry called me into his office on a Monday before Thanksgiving, 1979, and took my job from me, I broke in half. I don't know how to explain it. It was I had a breakdown. I went to the 49ers. That didn't make any difference. I went to the Oilers. I didn't care. I went to the Dolphins. I was a mummy. I was just going through the motions. But Tom Landry took away from me the best job in the world. I deserved to get fired. I was a mouthy, new kind of black guy.
Right.
I cussed him out. I MF'd him. I was out of line.
Well,
of course, that was after he said I was fired, of course. But,
well, I'm sure Tom didn't. I mean, Coach Landry didn't.
But I
like.
can't.
Go
I
ahead.
can't put into words how hurt, devastated I was as a human being.
It was your identity. I mean, that's.
Yes.
And we talk about that a lot. Yeah. And you got to get over that.
The NFL, the Cowboys gave me the best job and best opportunity a boy could have. Drugs, alcohol, behavior. I was kind of the new black guy. I didn't know my place.
Didn't Landry find you passed out on the practice field once, or was that?
No, that was Bill Walsh.
Oh, okay.
Bill Walsh.
Go from one coach to another.
But playing for Tom Landry, though, Thomas, that had to be, I mean, especially at that time. I mean, I grew up in Oklahoma, so, I mean, we didn't have professional football, so everybody was a Cowboys fan. And, I mean, you guys, Ed Too Tall Jones, Thomas Hollywood Henderson, you guys were everything. I mean, you were, Super Bowl champions. And Tom Landry, that guy, I mean, what was he like as a coach, especially back then? I mean, you were more than America's team then. You were a dominant force in football.
It was great to be coached by him. He basically was the big boss. I don't know if but he liked defense. So he coached me early once. I remember I was always on his goal line defenses because when he first met me, like 3 weeks into him knowing me and watching me,
right,
he put me in a goal line situation. We were going against Roger Staubach and the big guys. The rookies were all going against the vets. And he said, "Now, Henderson, if it goes that way, I want you to go through that hole and do this. And if it goes that way, you do that." And I went through the hole. The ball went to the right. I knocked John Nyland, basically out. And I hit Robert Newhouse with my helmet and killed him. And I went back to Coach Landry and I said, "Like that?" He goes, "Yeah."
You're hired.
Yeah.
I mean, just the names you just threw out there, Staubach. I mean,
That was
Newhouse.
back when Billy Kilmer played and
Yeah.
Joe Theismann.
I mean, Newhouse. I mean, and I still remember when you took the end around on the kickoff and ran it back for a touchdown. I mean,
Do you know that was week 2, 1975? I had a hip pointer, and Sitka called the reverse because we had practiced it. And here's what you don't know and remember. I took the ball, 97 yards for a touchdown, and I slam dunked it over the goalpost that day.
That must have been like the first one, right?
That was it. That was the first one. I did it again in 77, and in L.A. I did it with a finger roll because it was in the fourth quarter. I was too coked out, and the ground was
Yeah,
wet.
I get it.
I embarrassed myself by not making the dunk.
Thomas Hollywood Henderson. Do you still use Hollywood, or am I being?
You know what? It is what it is.
Okay.
Mom called me Thomas. My friends call me Thomas. Fans and
Okay.
folks from the like you from the '60s and '70s call me Hollywood.
I'll call you Thomas. Thomas will be
I like
back.
that.
We're going to take a break for a couple minutes, and you'll be back, and we're going to talk about concussions, the need to solve that issue, and I don't know. You sound pretty good to me. Thomas Henderson.
Yes.
Back with us in a moment. We'll be right back.